Hello, this is Eric of Sparky Studio, and welcome to my review of the Fifine Amplitank Tank3. Inside the box, we have what we have here, and we have a USB cable from Fifine with USB Type-C and USB Type-A on the other side. In terms of our USB cable, it is Velcroed together, and it is very long. That's my whole arm length. That's at least 4 feet, and that's plus another, was it 7 feet or something like that? Something ridiculous. But yeah, that's long. That's over 2 meters long. Dang. That is nice sizing of cable. I haven't measured yet, but yeah, that's pretty good stuff. Taking a look at our microphone, it looks like we have a mute button here, as it shows a mic symbol on it. I'll find out more in a bit. And on the back side, we have our XLR in the middle. We have USB, and we have headphones. On the back end here, it looks like we have our mic volume and our headphone volume right here as well. And this handle can be removed, and this is a standard boom arm thread on the back end of this, for those wondering. Now, if I remove this, it's very, very easy to remove this, lose this rubber gasket. So be mindful of that because there's nothing really holding it. The rubber gasket's going to help it hold into place. Now, it looks like a standard 1/4-inch thread, but is it? No, it's not imperial 1/4-inch. It might be a metric one, but they are very similar in size. But it's at least threaded differently. That is for sure. Now, this can be set up anywhere along this microphone one way or another, so that's nice that we have that adjustability. In terms of materials, this is metal, and this other microphone is also metal. Nice. In terms of what is not metal, these knobs, and pretty much just knobs and the button down here, and maybe this might be plastic as well, this knob. So the knobs look to be the only thing that's not metal, and the rubber gaskets. Nice quality build. I guess that's why I call it Tank 3, because it's built like a tank. Now let's set this up to USB and then to XLR. Right now, you're listening to the headphone jack of this microphone connected to my digital camera, mic in, and this gives me a good chance to show you how the mute button works. So you can see it green right now. And now when it's green again, you can hear everything. What I want to start with using USB is the specifications showing you online. Right now, we are on Fifine's website recording with OBS, and the volume on this mic is set all the way, and it's not even clipping. So I have to pretty much talk really close to the microphone to get like great volume. I have that at least set to 0, so you're going to be using max volume if you want that volume. And I'm about 3 inches away, and if I go really close, this is right against the microphone, and it uses windproof cotton to avoid those plosives, so I have no phone muff over this at all. Cordwood pattern, expect for this type of microphone. Noise reducing silicone, okay. This is a dynamic mic. It means it doesn't require phantom power, so don't add phantom power. No 48 volts, no 48 volts. It is dynamic. Okay, polar pattern, as we saw. USB Type-C to the mic end, and USB-A to the computer or whatever device is picking up on the USB end. Now, 2.0 means USB 2.0 data rated. You can get a different cable with a higher data rating. It doesn't matter. And it has low power consumption when USB connected. And here is our depth, which is 16-bit and 48 kilohertz for your high end on the sampling rate. And that's the same as a digital camera will use, is 48 kilohertz, at least for most different cameras. And our main frequency response is 50 to 60 kilohertz, which is our normal vocal range. So that's good. It can pick up 20 to 20 kilohertz, but that's can. It's not going to really pick it up much. Now, SPL, that is our max pressure level. So if we exceed that, it's going to sound like clipping, and that's where our mic distorts. If you go really loud and beat that 120 dB, which of course I'll try to do because that's what I do. And we have our frequency response. Of course, that's what it can be. You can see our curve right here. I'll explain that in a moment. Signal to noise ratio, 95 dB. That's actually really good that we have that high of a rating. Now, this frequency response right here, we see up to about 50. It's pretty darn low. That means the low end rumble, construction, maybe a bit of wind noise. The low end rumble sounds are annoying. We get very little of that. So that's good. And on the high pitch sound, we don't get the really high, really high annoying pitch sounds as much. You might wonder, does this work with the Android mobile phone? Well, you are hearing it right now. In fact, I had to turn the volume down because it was so excessively loud. I'm using open camera to avoid any hiss. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Sparky Studio, because who else is going to show you this? I bet your favorite podcast channel is not. So, let's go on to game streaming and then to XLR testing. So this is Sons of the Forest. We have a chopper to our left side, and there's Fisheye, and there's Calvin. He looks kind of tired. I sit right here, and I'm sitting on the back seat here. Nice cloth seats, it looks like. Got the feet together and probably cuddling a little bit. You can see their legs are nice and close. Got some cuddles going on. Try to keep it casual, look the other way. Yeah. Calvin, you little slide out. It is now time to test to XLR, but before we go there, when you're connected to XLR, the mute button won't work and the control functions will not work. We're going to compare to other microphones. We're going to try shouting as loud as we can. We're going to check noise rejection and more. Now let's get to XLR. One thing I want to test is tapping on the body of this stand. So if you're using a boom arm or whatever, we can hear that quite a bit. Now let's apply a shock mount. Can you use it for voice acting as an affordable option? Well, let's find out. Krillin, use the power within you! But I ain't got no power except for these Power Hour chocolate bars. They're the best! I knew this guy once, and he wore brown pants, and he left trails of brown all over the place. It's almost like he pooped himself. So I'm going to be turning my volume down to the PC, and now let's go really loud. I am going as loud as I can! I don't know that I was clipping, and we're getting some weird distortions or not right now trying to scream very clearly! And yeah, that didn't clip to that. I don't know if we could take the SPL, but that was a bit much. Let's do that noise rejection test. Mic test 1 2 3. 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 Mic test from the behind. Mic test 1 2 3. Mic test in the front 1 2 3. Mic test underneath. For some reason, I don't know why. Mic test to the front, and let's go up high. And that was our mic test, noise rejection test, and just back to the side, just for the fun of it. And this is a mic test, really rejecting on the side. Rejects like a madman, I tell you. So that means if your microphone is the opposite direction from your computer tower this side, and I'm speaking this way, it will reject noise nicely. Now, one thing about this mic, it does require quite a bit of gain, and that goes with pretty much all the other ones I tested. Now, the self noise is something I'm curious of, so let's be silent. Okay, turn that volume back up. Down, because I'm going to talk loud again. Now, that was your noise silence test. I'm going to have to play it back and hear how good or not good it is, because if it's silent in the silence, that's a really good thing, especially at this volume range here, this value. We want low self noise, and that'd be awesome. because it's something you don't get much of. Now, the tone itself, again, is going to be up to personal choice. Now, of course, you have a little talk really close. You can get that weird kind of deep tone to it. So if I didn't like the sound of it naturally, I just go up to the microphone like this and I'll get a little closer on the capsule. And I don't really like that because then I have that breathing sound. Now, if I get a pop filter, like that, I can actually talk up close. But this one is metal, so I don't like that one either. So why? That's why. Kind of pop filter. Right now I'm using this like a mesh pop filter. How am I coming through? It shouldn't be plosiving at all, despite being up close, and it should sound better than if I was speaking right up to the microphone like this. And this should actually protect from that kind of splashy kind of sound that is very uncomfortable to have you're speaking up close. So this little mesh filter is from a pop filter, and it's not going to make a clinking sound against the microphone, and you can have it nice and close, but just don't touch your microphone and you're all good. So how do I sound up close as this compared to speaking up down right here, which is going to be more of that natural tone, and I'll drop off quickly as I go a distance away, and as I go a distance away, and as I go a distance away, I am about 2 feet away, then I'm about 3 feet away, and I'm going to go kind of crazy, and I could go about 4 feet away. I can still hear myself through the headphones. And now let's do a couple little mic comparisons in terms of sound and audio pickup. You are now listening to me on the Fifine AM8 microphone. This one's more tuned to, say, a deeper voice to give you more of that defined sort of sound. However, when connected to USB, this one does not sound as high as the resolution as this microphone. This microphone itself is also more neutral in sound. This one's more of a tune to have a little bit more bold type tone. This is made of plastic. This one's made of metal. This one has a foam thing that gets kind of messed up looking. This has a filter inside. Now let's switch over to a different microphone. We are now listening to the Melon PD400X. Plosive's really easy if you don't have the foam on. However, the tone is fairly neutral as well. So they're very comparable with that other microphone, the Tank 3. So let's switch back to the Tank 3 and we'll try one more microphone to compare. And now we're back to the Tank 3. How am I coming through with this particular microphone? Now the other microphone I'm going to compare to this is a far more expensive vintage microphone, which is tuned to be more of a deep, bold sound compared to this one. You are now listening to the JZ Microphone Vintage V11. This microphone is somewhere around $700 USD, if not more expensive, compared to this microphone that's less than $100. Do we know the difference? This one also requires 48 volts phantom power, has a lot of gain volume, so no problems getting proper volume with this mic at all compared to those other dynamic mics that I showed thus far that require a lot of gain and a good interface for volume. So, how am I coming through with this condenser microphone versus those dynamic microphones, but the price difference is excessively huge? What are my thoughts on the Fifine Tank 3? Well, before I talk about that, don't forget to subscribe to Sparky Studio and help this channel grow. And if you are subscribed, or if you're subscribing right now, then you, yes, you are awesome. When it comes to the Fifine Tank 3, it's a very neutral tone. It's going to be a matter of preference for your personal voice. Do you like your voice just the way it is? Or do you prefer something deeper like I do? Or do you already have a deep voice and it might sound more fantastic with your very deep voice as it is? And it also has very low self-noise. Like, it is amazing and it has good sound rejection. The one nice part is you don't need a filter in front of it, a pop filter, to avoid those plosives unless you're really on the microphone itself, which most do, and then you have something covering your face. Now, again, where it falls short is based upon your tone of voice. It doesn't have extra accessories. It doesn't have a shock mount. Most of the other mics that are comparable don't have a shock mount at this price point. In fact, that very expensive microphone has a shock mount that you buy separately that's more expensive than this microphone. Either way, the choice is ultimately up to you. Thanks for watching, and have yourselves a most wonderful day.